Hey guys, so today what I'm going to speak about is an absolutely amazing miracle that this video has been circulating all over the internet, and it's a Greek guy. His name is Argyri, and what happens is he dies, he goes to hell, then he gets saved and comes back. And then a few miracles take place, which you'll hear. So what I've done is I've done the voiceover. I just want to say, please, if you can find it in your hearts, the donations have really slowed down just so we can save the money for the second and third church. So enjoy the miracle, and I'll touch base with you at the end. Enjoy.
This is Argyri Mitsi from Kilkis, and he decided to talk about his experience after talking with his spiritual father, Geronda Kirilo, and he advised him to share this experience with the world. He says, "I have all the paperwork to prove what I'm saying for anyone that doubts. I lived a life that was not Christian-like. I worked in the night industry, and all day, all I would do is blaspheme the name of our Lord and Panagia. Because his heart was not in a good condition, he went to the hospital called Papageorgiou, and he saw the director of hemodynamics named Lambros Moscharos. Even up to the moment when I walked into the hospital, he says, I was swearing and blaspheming the holy name of our Lord and Panagia, even saying, 'Come down here and I'll confront you,' and words that I do not want to say here as they are really bad. After my heart test came back, I was told I needed to do a heart angioplasty. Because it was so urgent, we had to do it straight away. I was awake, but numb from the waist down. During the procedure, suddenly I started to lose earth under my feet. I started to get dizzy and things were blanking out. And that was it. I closed my eyes and I left. I left and I went somewhere else, in a place that was dark, and I could hear souls yelling in my ears, 'Help' and 'Mercy.' It smelled really bad and someone was hitting me. I felt a burn on my right hand. To help you understand, it's like being in a dark room with the lights off. Someone has closed your mouth and nose and you cannot breathe, and hearing voices screaming in your ears. And the voices were yelling, 'Mercy,' calling out for mercy, 'Help, save us, take us from here.' And that's when I understood that I was in hell. I could tell it was me, but I could not see my arms or my legs or my body. Suddenly, two red eyes were looking at me, and then suddenly, he said to me, 'Finally you're here. I've been waiting for you.' He said his name. It is the name of the devil, but I do not want to repeat it. That I'll keep and not say. Then he started to hit me viciously. My right arm was burning. They were grabbing me from the throat. If only I could have recorded how it felt. You would have been 24 hours a day on your knees, praying to God for his mercy and help. In my despair, for the first time in 48 years, I started to say, 'My Lord, help me. I believe in you. Take me from here.' And then I saw a light coming towards me, and it was getting stronger as it was approaching, and the darkness was disappearing. Opposite me was a young man with blonde hair, blonde beard, and green eyes. And he reached over, laid hands on my head, and said, 'Do not be scared. I'm here.' And suddenly I opened my eyes, and I found myself back in the surgical room with a sheet all the way over my face. I was clinically dead for 3 minutes. I could hear the doctors in the corner saying, 'How are we going to tell his wife?' I lifted the sheet and I said, 'Where are you going, guys? I'm here.' My doctor, as well as George Grammatiko, came towards me, and when they saw I was alive, they continued the procedure without believing what had just happened. Eventually, they bandaged me and they took me back up to the unit. The doctor came up and told me, 'Did you know that you were clinically dead for 3 minutes?' I answered, 'I'm not sure if I was dead, but I know I went somewhere. My doctor doesn't believe in anything, only his science. In the unit, I felt a great pain on my right leg and right arm. It was stinging. A nurse approached me to give me something to eat, and she asked me, "This thing on your hand, when did you do it?" I looked at my arm and saw a burn with a crown, and on top of it, it had the numbers 666. Those numbers I brought back from where I was. My doctor knows me very well. He knows I've done a lot of wrong in my life, but I've never been involved with Satanism and those things. And he said to me, "I cannot explain this thing." I knew someone that believed a lot in God, and on the fourth day, they discharged me. I still could not lift my arm up, and it smelt terrible. The burn was still there, and so were the numbers. Then this guy that I knew, Miraculous, said to me, "I'll take you to a monastery, and that is when we will see what will happen." My faith was really weak. I forgot to say that before I left hospital, as I was lying in the unit, right opposite me was a small icon, and the eyes of a saint were looking at me, straight into my eyes. I could feel it. I called the nurse and asked her to bring the holy icon over to me. It was Saint Paisio. When I came out of hospital, they took me to that monastery. I won't say the name of the monastery or the elder, but I went inside and I did my holy confession for the first time. When I first walked inside, all I felt like doing was hitting all the monks. When I would see holy vestments, I would go crazy. These people, though, for 3 days and 3 nights, with prayer, with the power of love, and the living God, they had difficult nights, as the enemy would come and knock on the door, as he was screaming, "Leave him alone, Argyris is mine." Elder said to me then, "I'll either help you get better, or I will die with you." An elder that was very devoted, and would never go out of his way to lie. On the 3rd day, I woke up, and the 666 and the crown had vanished from my arm, from that burn that I said. The smell was still there, and I could not lift my arm. Then that guy, Miraculous, came over, and I asked him for a favor, if he could take me to Suroti. Suroti is where Saint Paesio's grave is. There, a second miracle took place that I cannot explain. I went to Suroti and I saw a massive gathering of people, but before we went to the grave of the saint, there was a little house where the nuns, the monastics, were outside with the abbot. Then the abbot calls out to me and says, "Come here." And I asked her, "Are you talking to me?" And the abbot replies, "Yes." She asked me also, "Is your name Argyri?" And I asked her, "How do you know that?" I then turned to Dimitri and asked him if he had told them that we were going. And Dimitri answered, "No, I don't know anything." The abbot then says, "The saint told us that you were coming. Come with me." And she took me to his grave. And she says to me, "Come and venerate the grave of your father." I prayed at his grave. I kissed the Holy Cross. And that's when the 3rd miracle happened. As I was heading to leave, the abbot says, again, "Come with me." And she gave me the great honor to take me where the saint would sit on a little chair, and also to see the bed where he would sleep. I then said to the abbot, "If only you knew how much I love him." She replied to me, "If only you could see him, how much he loves you." Since then, I gave up everything. I live a poor life in my house, but Jesus lives there. Above all, the saint lives there, Saint Paisio, who for you all is a saint. To me is my Yeronda, my father. I started to live a life totally different. I know that every moment he is by my side. I can feel it. He advises me. In the 6 months since my discharge, I've been living with a saint in my soul and in my heart. Once more, I had a failure in my heart, and they took me with the ambulance to the same hospital again. My doctor came and said to me, "I'm really sorry, but we need to do an open heart surgery straight away. To tell you exactly what's going on, you have 2 days of life. If you stay like this, if I operate on you, you have a 10% chance to come out alive. Your situation is tragic." I said to my doctor, "George, give me 10 minutes to decide and I will let you know." As I was on my bedside, I had placed the holy icon of Saint Paisio, and it's as if he whispered in my heart, "Go ahead, do not be scared." So I then called George and I said, "George, let's go to the operating room and you will not be alone." He said to me, "What do you mean, Arieri?" I said, "There will be someone else operating with you and will be holding your hands." I went into the surgery with a 10% chance of living. The operation went for 13 hours plus, and afterwards they took me out and back to the unit. I woke up at one stage and I could not breathe. I realized I was intubated. A nurse came and took something rubbery from my neck. They told me things are not good for you. We can't say everything went perfect. You have to remain for another 3 or 4 days here, and then we will take you downstairs where you will remain another 10 days on the machines. Yet another miracle happened. It was the first contact I had with my saint, my father. I was waiting there, looking at the ceiling. I suddenly felt the smell, like the smell of holy water, coming closer towards me. The smell flooded all the room, and above my head I saw the saint, Saint Paisio, and he said, "Get up, lazy. Why are you lying down? You are just fine. Come on, get up, so someone else can come and lie here." I'm challenging anyone that does not believe me to come find me, and I'll prove it to him with paperwork and with a witness statement from a professor. 2 days, all the machines were off, and I was able to walk again. The doctor could not understand what was going on, and the second day, when he took the machines off, it was like I had not even been operated on. He came to my bed. He looked at my bedside table and said, "Is this the elder you were talking about?" Watch what I'm about to say to you. An atheist person then got on his knees, he did the sign of the cross and kissed the holy icon of Saint Paisio. And I'll never forget what I said to him. Which one of the two operated on the other? Which one of the two healed the other? This happened on the Saturday, and on the Sunday there was an elder monastic that came to visit someone next to me. Whoever was coming in the bay where I was being healed and was getting discharged. The saint resided in there. The monastic walked in and his eyes fell on me and he said, "My son, what have you done?" I replied to him, "Open heart surgery." He then said, "Everyone has people here visiting them and you don't have anyone." I then told him, "I do not have a mother. I do not have anyone." And his reply was, "You, my son, have Panagia, and above your head are angels that are protecting you." I came out of there, and today I live the life that I live. Now, they have found cancer in my throat. I've never asked from the saint to heal me once. In my soul, I say the only thing I ask from him every time I pray is for the whole world to be well. And secondly, if this isn't egotistic, when I die, for him to come and get me, to take me from the hand and take me with him. The fact I'm alive, I love him more than anything on this earth. I love the saint, And every minute of the day, every second of the day, He's by my side. And there have been a lot of little miracles that if I was to tell you, we would be here for a very long time. And little things happen, like putting my hands once on live electricity cables, and I did not get struck by the electricity. How many things have happened since the saint has entered my life? But above all, I love Jesus Christ, because my Yeronda, I'll actually say his name now, Kyrillos, said to me this: Aryeri, you are blessed, my son. I've been in here from a young little boy, and I've not had the blessing to have lived such an experience and a second chance to come back so you can get everything straight for your soul and to leave earth clean.
So as you saw, when he came back, he did his holy confession. Now, holy confession is like a second baptism, because what you confess, those sins are wiped out. Now, we cannot hide anything in confession, because it's like we're trying to tease God. He already knows what we've done, okay? Because what the devil does, when you commit the sin, he takes away the shame. And when you go to confess it, he throws the shame back, so you don't feel like confessing it. But in actual fact, that's where you don't need to feel ashamed, because the Lord already knows what you've done. He just wants to see your heart, that you've repented, and that way he will forgive you. And when we pass to the next life, we're not going to have all these sins coming with us. So your angel rejoices, because he's going to show that you have a clean slate. Those sins you've committed have been forgiven, okay? And that is the only way to be forgiven, through holy confession. So make sure we do our holy confession, so in the afterlife, the demons, nothing evil can bring those sins against us. And finally, I'll put the link below for the GoFundMe if anyone wishes to donate. And I'd like to thank you all for watching. As an unworthy sinner that I am, I pray for you morning and night. And God bless you, and God bless your families. Take care.